Hi friends, today we see about linkage of kinematics mechanism. So linkage mechanism in kinematics, these things to be discussed today now. So first of all, we need to know the things. So kinematics means the body under motion. During the motion, the forces are not considered. That is the thing in kinematics. So in kinematics, so what will be the linkage mechanism? Linkage mechanism, it actuates something. So that is the linkage mechanism. What are the mechanism will be used? We will be discussed in our upcoming sessions. So before that, we have to know certain basic things. That is displacement. Actually, displacement. The displacement is defined as the distance and the direction of object can change its position from starting point. That is the movement of object from one place to another place. That is called as displacement. So it specifies the any kind of path. So the path of travel may be varies in any direction. So the direction may be varies. We need to calculate the distance between the starting point and the end point. This is a displacement. So movement of object is called as a displacement. So unit for this displacement is meter or mm or centimeter, whatever may be, as per the requirement. Then so next we see velocity. So velocity is defined as the displacement with respect to time. That is the definition for velocity. So displacement. What will be the distance covered in a particular time? So that is the main thing. So that is the main thing. So here the velocity. So velocity is distance covered by particular time. So the unit for is meter per second. That is the unit for velocity. So we have to know the difference between velocity and speed. So the definition for speed. Speed is defined as the rate of change of distance. This rate of change of distance. So it's a scalar quantity. So unit is equal to meter per second, distance per time. So ms power minus 1. The velocity also the same. The rate of change of displacement. So here this is the difference. So whereas in speed it's a change of distance, here the change of displacement. These are the main things. Here velocity is the vector quantity. So unit may be same, meter per second. So acceleration, the rate of change of velocity, it's an acceleration. So that's why the acceleration unit is meter per second square. So velocity per time, or we can say meter second per second. Specifically we use the terms in terms of time, we use only the seconds. So instantaneous center method, it specifies the motion of the link. Instantaneous center, thus this combined motion of rotation and translation of link AB may be assumed to be motion of pure rotation about some center, that is I, known as instantaneous center of rotation, also called center or virtual center. Then method of determining the velocity of point in a link, that is instantaneous center method and relative velocity method. These are the two things will be followed. So this is the velocity of a point on a link by instantaneous center method. From which the diagram resolving the velocities along AB So VA cos alpha is equal to VB cos beta, or we can written as VA by VB is equal to cos beta by cos alpha. It's equivalent to sin 90 minus beta divided by sin 90 minus alpha. Apply Lami's theorem to triangle ABI. So AI divided by sin 9 theta 90 minus beta is equal to BI by sin 90 degree minus alpha. So AI by BI is equal to sin 90 minus beta 790 minus alpha. From equations 1 and 2, VA by VB is equal to AI by BI, or we can written as VA by AI is equal to VB by VI, that is omega, angular velocity. Angular velocity of the rigid link, that is omega. If C is another point in a link, then VA by AI is equal to VB by BI is equal to VC by CI. So this is the diagram. It specifies the velocity of a point on a link. Then properties of the instantaneous center. A rigid link rotates instantaneously relative to another link at the instantaneous center for configuration of the mechanism considered. The two rigid links have no linear velocity relative to each other at the instantaneous center. At this point, that is instantaneous center, the two rigid links have the same linear velocity relative to third rigid link. In other words, the velocity of instantaneous center relative to any third rigid link will be same whether the instantaneous center is regarded as the point on the first rigid link or on the second rigid link. This is the diagram shown. So how will it actuates? The number of instantaneous centers in the mechanism, that is n is equal to, so small n into n minus 1 divided by 2. So small n is equal to number of links utilized in a system. So types of instantaneous centers. First one, fixed instantaneous centers. Second one, permanent instantaneous centers, and neither fixed nor permanent instantaneous centers. The first two types, that is fixed and permanent instantaneous centers, are together known as primary instantaneous centers, and the third type is known as secondary instantaneous centers. Consider a 4-bar mechanism ABCD as shown. The number of instantaneous centers n in a 4-bar mechanism is given by the types of instantaneous centers. The instantaneous centers H2 and H4 are called the fixed instantaneous centers, as they remain in the same place for all the configuration of the mechanism, from which the diagram we can explain these things. The instantaneous centers H2 and H4 are the permanent instantaneous centers, as they move when the mechanism moves, but the joints are permanent nature. Then last one, the instantaneous centers H3 and H4 are neither fixed nor permanent instantaneous centers, as they vary with the configuration of the mechanism. These are the things explained from which the diagram shown in here. These are the diagram from which we can explain whether it may be fixed instantaneous center or permanent instantaneous centers, or it may be neither fixed nor permanent instantaneous center, from which we can explain such things in a right way. So this is the diagram specifies, it specifies like a triangle, from which we can easily understand what will be the linear motion as well as where will be the circular motion it generates. these things to be considered from the diagram as we specified here. This is the main thing here.